Hello to all my people, and if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botched, Bots, and Chair Shots. I'm your host, a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining me tonight is the VPW New York State Champion. He is the big Boofa, Dezmond Cole. Des, thanks for coming on and chat about some wrestling, brother. How are you?
How are you doing, my man? Very excited to be on. Really looking forward to this.
It's really easy. 30 minutes. We usually just kind of hang out. We chat about wrestling, talk about you. I always start just kind of at the top. We talk about early exposure. What did you grow up watching as an early wrestling fan?
I watched a lot. So I got into like wrestling around like the Ruthless Aggression era. Around like, I want to say when I really started paying attention was like 2005. Um, no, actually, no, 2003, actually. That's why I first started getting into it. I was like flipping through channels. I was like 5 years old, I think, 5, 6 years old around there. And I just saw like John Cena like screaming at the TV or something like that. Like he was like intense as hell. And I was hooked like right away. I was like, yeah, I gotta watch this like every single week. And like beside that, that's like my first real memory. Um, Besides that, like I was super young, so I wasn't really like have a good memory. But I know that my uncles used to watch like wrestling religiously when I was a little baby, and they used to try and tell me about like Mick Foley and The Rock and Undertaker and all that stuff like that. And I didn't really like understand it because I was so young until like I really did get into it when I watched it every week.
Are you originally from the Northeast, that New York, New Jersey area?
Yep, yep, yeah,
Uh,
Long Island, New York, baby.
Nice. When I grew up in the southeast, Nashville, so I grew up late '80s, early '90s, the end of the NWA, the beginning of the WCW times. Just out of curiosity, growing up that far north, after you got into your TNAs and your Ring of Honors and stuff, did you have a lot of that far north with you guys being such a heavy WWE territory?
Yeah. So obviously, like independent, like social media has made such a huge, crazy difference in what you can see now. Back in like those times, you really didn't know what was going on outside of those realms. And I was in elementary school figuring out about like ROH and stuff like that. And my friends had no idea what the hell I was talking about. But I got into ROH, finding out about the indies. That was like my first indie I found out about. Fell in love with like Brian Danielson, Austin Aries, like all of those guys, like Roderick Strong. Yeah, that I loved ROH. um, but yeah.
So when you decided, okay, one day you were like, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. This is what I want to do. This is I kind of call it the kind of the origin story for everybody. What was that process like for you when you decided, okay, I'm going to get into training. I'm going to go to school, not go to school. Like, how did you go about deciding how you were going to start the training process?
So I was in love the first like minute I real like when I realized what professional wrestling was and I was watching every week, I was in love with it. But I didn't know that you could do it. I don't know, for some reason, like I see these superstars on my TV and I was like, oh, they just spawned. They spawned
They
here.
just
Like
they
I
just
don't
showed up one day and they were pro wrestlers, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't think it was a way to get into it. So I kind of had it in the back of the head. It was like a pipe dream for me. So I did this for a while, and then I was in in high school, and I was no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. In middle, like my in eighth grade, in my like health class, they were asking like, "Oh, what do you want to do when you know you leave here?" And I stood up and I was like, "I want to be a professional wrestler." And everyone laughed at me. The teacher laughed at me, uh, and basically like just shoot it away. So after she did that, I was like, "All right, well, it really is impossible then." So I kind of threw it away and thinking about it that way, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like, I'm a class clown. I'm just gonna be a funny guy, whatever. Like I'll try and do some like YouTube stuff. And I originally like wanted to be like a comedian after that. After I threw it away, And on top of all this, I was also a competitive break dancer and a hip hop dancer.
That's
And
cool.
I traveled around and I did a bunch, did that stuff. So yeah, that happened. And after my senior year, I was doing like this comedy show, and I was like, yo, I was telling my friend, I wanna do an episode about wrestling, but we don't have a wrestling ring. And his brother was like, oh, I know a guy that has a wrestling ring. So when we went to the place and I saw this wrestling ring, I was like, yo, I was like, this is right in front of my face right now. Like, I've obviously been to shows and I've been behind, the barricade. Uh, but being there, touching the ring and stuff like that, yeah, no, I was it like through everything I wanted. Then it brought me right back to being a kid. So I was like, yo, it's in my face. So after like I was in this ring, I like signed up for school like the next week. And I started like training it. I never, I'm a very humble guy, but it was like second nature to me. When I was in there, it felt so right to me. And I just from that day, which I think now is like August 2017, I just to the races. Like I never stopped.
Let's take a look at a little bit of your career then on the kind of the big scope. I say to kind of look at it from the 40,000 foot view as your whole career as a whole. You spent some time working with Limitless. They're one of the premier indie promotions in the Northeast right now. You recently got to lock up with Too Cold Scorpio. He's a legend in the business, man. Like, what was it like to be able to get in there and lace up your boots and go one on one with somebody like that?
So this by far was one of my top dream opponents. Like this is somebody that I obviously like growing up. I think he was about I think done like he was still doing indie stuff. Um, but I watched his stuff in ECW. I watched, his stint in WWE, like or WF. Like I watched all of his stuff. And I truly knew even then that nobody did it like him. Like nobody, like he is what people are doing today. Like he created all of that. So just the fact that that was a thing, like just starstruck me. And then I was seeing that he was doing a lot of things in the Northeast, and I was going to a lot of the shows and just still watching him and being like, "Yo, how the hell does this man? He's timeless. Like he just can keep going."
And he's
So
still
I told
doing it
myself,
now, like he was doing it in the mid '90s. Like it's no big deal, too. That's what blows my mind about it.
"That's what I'm saying." So I literally was like, oh, maybe this can happen. And I thought this was like 2 years ago. This is before like I took like an injury. I was like, this is a dream opponent. Like I see that he's still doing it, and he has not changed. But then I got hurt, and time just keeps going, and I don't know how longer he's gonna continue. So I just threw it out. I think it's not gonna happen anymore. Um, and then Limitless told me in January about certain plans that were gonna happen, and the guy threw me for a loop when he told me. I was so taken back. I was like, no way. There's no way this is happening. I was like a little kid. I was really excited. Um, and my God, it lived up to everything that I thought that it was going to be. That Too Cold is one of the dopest, coolest, selfless veterans I have met in this business, and I give all my gratitude to him. He gave me advice. He has said everything that would help people like me. You know what I mean? And just being in the ring with him and being with that next level of what it's like, even something he said, I'm going to get real for a second. Right before we went out, he was just like, now it's time to come up to my level. And when he said that, I was like, oh man, here we go. Here we go. This is the real deal. I will forever remember that match. Obviously, I will forever remember the words he said to me. I don't know if you've seen, but I even posted the words he said because they mean so much to me, and I cannot believe that exchange happened once in a lifetime.
I've always heard it, and I've heard a lot of guys say this when it comes to working with vets like that. They're like, if you want to be great at wrestling, work with people that are better than you. Do you hold true to that? Do you think that is very, like, I've heard so many guys say it. How does that affect, like in Desmond Cole's world? Does that apply to you?
Yes, yeah, of course. That is so. I don't know, it's so true. It really is. You gotta nerve wracking. At the same time, it's like super rewarding, and it's you're learning all of this mileage and knowledge that this person has. And like this man has been doing it for 36 years. I'm 25 years old. I've been doing it for 6 years. He has 30 years of experience on me. Like that's crazy to say. And being in the ring with him, I fully understand why he is a legend. Like I knew before, but I totally 100% sold now. I know. I know why.
So Limitless not only you've got your two cold Scorpios and the the plethora of names that they've brought through there, but also in that locker room you've had Isaiah Bronner and Alec Price and Anthony Green and MJF and Desmond Cole, and you've had so many guys pass through that locker room at one point or another. Aside from the legends that you work with, what's it like working every week with one of the premier indie rosters anywhere, not just in the Northeast but across the country?
It's amazing, and it kind of goes back to that learning experience. You have no choice but to learn or get left behind. Like you always keep your ears open because you just learn every single time you're there. Limitless is a I still can't believe I'm there. I'm not gonna lie. I love being there. It is my favorite place to work. I'm not gonna lie. I learn so much every single time in front of that crowd. Uh, because the pressure is always on, and you got to think on your feet. You got to be on your A game every single time. For some reason, when I'm in that ring at Limitless, like I just turn it on. Like, and I'm not saying it's not like that everywhere else, but Limitless has a special place in my heart that I just know that you gotta bring your A game. You got to.
Every week's a big fight, Phil. Right? That's the way. I mean, at least on my side of at my side of the curtain, that's the way they present their shows. Is every week is a big fight. Every week matters, and that means something. At least from a fan's perspective, you know what I mean. When they present it like the product matter, that means something to us. Let's move down the coast a little bit towards Beyond Wrestling, that New Jersey, that New York area, a little bit closer to home for you. Beyond and Wrestling Open, they're both known for bringing in talent from all over the country. They'll bring in your Chris Brady's and stuff from the Pacific Northwest all the way out east to work with you guys. What's it like working with such a wide gambit of talent from all over?
That's another thing, man. It is crazy. You never know what you're gonna get, and that's another thing. It keeps you on your toes there, like a Wrestling Open. Wrestling Open is running consistently every single Thursday, and they run like TV. Things can change. There's always going to be eyes on you. In my opinion, I believe truly that Wrestling Open is the place to be if you want to know how to get to the next step to TV. If that's what you want to do, like it just drills it into you. It's another thing where it's a lot of pressure, but you got to show up every single week, and you have to show that you are willing to learn. You have to show that you have growth in your system. Like you need to show that because if you stay stagnant in this business, it shows. You know what I mean?
For sure. Another part of the Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open and all of that plethora that comes with it is the IWTV side of things. IWTV, I've always said it's kind of like the Netflix for indie wrestling. Like they cover everything. You want to find something to watch, IWTV is going to have it. I just had a chance to talk with one of their crews at Scenic City down here in Chattanooga. From a worker's perspective and the talent in the locker room right now, like how does it feel to be able to get eyes on the product as easily and accessible as IWTV is making it right now?
It's just awesome, man. Like I said before, it is so social media. It can be poisonous sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. People cannot have the nicest things to say about you, but at the same time, social media is helping the independents drive forward. All of these streaming services for the independents are helping eyes get seen easier. Um, the work doesn't get easier, but you truly like we are like our generation is really lucky to have this right now because you never you never know when your number is going to be called. And all of this is stuff that you could easily keep studying and get better at. You can see what the next person's doing, and why are they getting booked here? Or what do I have to do? You can watch your own stuff back, and it's just there. Like there's a whole library of stuff for independents now, and it is crazy.
Do you watch a lot of tape? Like,
Yes, yeah, I do.
yeah, I watch a lot. I was going to be curious about somebody when I've watched you work, the speed and the agility mixed with the technical stuff. When you're in the ring and you're working, how do you blend all of that together, but also allowing your opponent to kind of tell his half of the story as well? Because you're not just a speed guy, you're not just a high flyer, you're not just a technical wrestler. And just kind of segueing with the conversation, you liken yourself to a Too Cold Scorpio in reality. You know what I mean? Like you do a little bit of everything. How do you find that balance when you're in the ring with an opponent?
Um, at first, when I started doing this, so I'm gonna go off on a tangent. And so when COVID happened, like in 2020, I wasn't this character that I am. I was very put it this way, I was very shy and nervous to express who I really am. So I was like angry guy number six. Like when I came out the gate, like I didn't know I could show my personality. I never told anybody that I used to be a break dancer and hip hop dancer. I never showed that. And yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, it clicked in me. I don't know if you know Tristan Ty. He's a very
Oh yeah,
close
he's a
brother of
friend of the
mine.
show. He's an alumni. He's been on the
Yeah,
show before with me.
he helped me out on the road when COVID was just starting to come to an end. He was like, "Yo, man, why don't you be yourself? Try doing something else." Because for a while, when I would be with the boys and I'd be training with them, I was exuberant. I have a sense of humor. Like I can have a good time. And then for some reason, I thought like being in the ring, you're just gonna be like insanely serious, and you can't show any character. Like I don't know why I went through that. So when I started this character and started showing people who I am, I didn't want to come off as, as a dancing guy. I wanted to show that I could have a good time, but I have layers to my game. And as obviously as it goes on, I have gotten better at showcasing everything in one match. Like I can show that I'm a power guy. Show that I can fly with the best. I can show that I can be somewhat of a technical wrestler. And now it is getting a lot easier for me to get that across without having to tell you. You know what I mean? Uh, it's fun. It's challenging. I love the challenge because when people see me, they don't know what to expect. It's a very unique presence, and that like we said, it's same thing with Too Cold Scorpio. You never know what that man's gonna do when he gets up top. You just gotta stay locked in, and that is the same presence I want to present to people.
Another one of my favorite analogies that I've always picked up and I've carried it a lot in a lot of these interviews is the guys will say they turn something from their normal life or their personality up to 11 in ring. They'll take a small piece of who they are, everywhere else on the planet outside of that ring, and they turn it up to 11. What part of Dezmond from outside the ring do you turn up to 11 when you get in the squared circle?
My crackhead energy. I'm not gonna lie.
That
I have
ADHD
like
kid at heart comes out.
ADHD. Yeah, I was literally about to say that. I have ADHD, so I do get like I I'm very people who hang out with me outside of this stuff will tell you I am the most random individual in the world. I'll just be chilling and I'll yell, blurt out. I don't know. I really it is so fun to put it into wrestling because it's like an outlet now, and I can just kind of do whatever I want. I'm not really typecasted to a certain character. I just have fun, and it is like I don't know. I'm feeling it out there when I'm out there doing my thing. Like I truly am. Like I am feeling it.
So let's talk about territory gold. Once upon a time, the 60s, 70s, 80s, these territory golds, they meant something. They were huge. At one point there were 25 different Vince McMahons and 25 different WWEs all over the country. You've held the New York State Championship for a little over a year now. Like you've
Yep.
held gold for a little while. What was it like? Let's go back to day one, or I guess day zero before you got the belt, when they were like, "All right, Des, we're gonna put the rocket on your back. We're gonna strap it. You're gonna go to the moon. We're gonna give you the belt." What was that call like when they told you were gonna be the guy?
Um, not gonna lie. I wasn't told. I remember the couple days before that, I wasn't really told what was going on until I got to the show, and we were like, I think I was halfway through like talking to the dude, and then he was like, casually, he was like, and then you're gonna go up and you're gonna win. I was like, what? I was so confused. I was nervous because I was just coming off of like real, real setback of an injury, and I was just really nervous. And I don't know, man. I was just excited and nervous, and all these emotions were going through. And that match where I won the New York State title, I don't know, that it was a really special match, and it was still like one of my top five favorite matches I've had. And Eric James, he is an amazing wrestler, amazing mentor. He's also helped me out a lot. He's known me for like years now, and he really did help me out. We built something special with that match that night, and yeah, no, that was great. Like I will never forget that.
So I saw on your socials you put on Twitter that you're heading back to the White Eagle on Thursday night. When you have a chance and you work Maine and you work New York and you work New Jersey and you go around in the Southeast, when you go to Memphis or you go to Knoxville or you're in Charlotte, those three markets have three very different crowd styles and what the crowd wants and expects when they watch wrestling. When you go that far north, can you tell a difference in the crowd when you're at the White Eagle versus when you're, in Maine or when you're in Jersey somewhere else? Like, is there a crowd difference from venue to venue or market to market?
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that I'm in New England so much that people think I'm from that area. The fans are so great, like to me in New England. Like they are there with me, and I really appreciate it. Even here in New York, like they're there. It's fun. There is places where you gotta work, man. You gotta work for that reaction. I kind of like that was I went to Ohio for Unsanctioned Pro, and I went against Braden Lee. And at first, they were rough to get over, but once they saw what I was about, and I started having fun getting loose in there, then they realized, and the connection was right there. It's like that when I go to new places. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but once we get rock and rolling, it's like everywhere else.
It's like that awkward first date when you first get in, you first meet somebody, you're kind of like filling the waters out to figure out exactly what you got to do to, it makes sense. You could only imagine that a wrestling match would be something similar to that.
That's actually a pretty good analogy. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's look all the way back. Let's go back to night one, match one. If you could go back and look at Rookie Dez that night, what advice would you give him with all the experience that you have up to this point?
Let me think.
That's a big question. You're the only second person I've asked this question for yet.
That's a great question, though. I ain't gonna lie. What would I tell Rookie Dezmond? Honestly, I would just tell him to relax. Like, just don't worry. Good things will come. It's just a weird time right now, but just remember to just listen. When I first started, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I spoke a lot. I wasn't like egotistical, but I was like, I just needed to relax a little bit and just listen more. I thought I had to do everything in the world, and I also just like wasn't who I am when I first started. I really over the years learned to just appreciate the little things, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty. I do think things are a race, and I have to realize you got to have some fun and just relax. But yeah, that's a big thing I would tell myself is that just relax a little bit. Don't try to calm down.
All right, Dezmond. I think we've done all the damage we can do for one night, but I can't let you off the hook. I always end these the same way I start them. I end them with 5 random questions that have nothing to do with wrestling.
Okay.
One of yours has to do with wrestling, but the other 4 you're off the hook. But I got your 5 queued up. You ready?
Yep.
All right, if you order tacos, what's your go-to filling, like protein-wise?
Protein. Steak.
Steak? Love steak tacos.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite music? Yeah. Who's your favorite musical artist?
Ooh, that's hard. All time, I'm gonna have to say Michael Jackson.
Also a fantastic pick. The only one that has to do with wrestling out of your five. Do you think Montreal was a work?
The Montreal Screwjob?
Yeah.
Nah, I thought it was real.
You
I'm
think
not
it's
gonna
real?
lie.
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm curious. There's, I get about 50-50. This one, I might know the answer to this one ahead of time. Do you have a preference between Biggie or Tupac?
Ooh boy. Oh boy. Wow, you didn't even go there right now. Holy shit, dude. Oh man. Oh, I hope no one kills me for this. All right. I'm gonna say Biggie. Let's say Biggie.
Safe territory
I
here.
love. Oh,
It's
I love.
tough.
I
That's a
love.
tough one. I'm a Biggie guy though. I grew up on the East Coast hip hop, so Wu Tang, Nas, stuff like that. So Biggie's always going to be close. But I big respect for who Pac was for the game. So no questions asked.
Yep.
All right, fifth and final question, Desmond. Does pineapple go on pizza?
Yes. Yes. Why do people? Why do they like that?
It's an honest question. You'd be amazed how many people have a. There's a lot of like deep seated vitriol here. You think the wrestling community is toxic over which company you watch? Imagine when they find out if you like pineapple on pizza.
What do you like?
Honestly, it's not my cup of tea. I've been begrudgingly putting it off, and I have tried it once before, and I think before long it'll probably be put back in front of me. So right now I'm indifferent towards it, but I'm gonna eventually have to break down and eat it.
I just had what was it? It was a couple weeks ago. It was like I was cheating on the diet a little bit, and I had it was like bacon, ham, and pineapple. And I swear to God that shit was like top
Salty
tier
and
to me.
sweet. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes.
I love that combo.
I guess on paper it makes sense. I just got to give it a shot. All right, Desmond. This is my favorite part of the episode because I don't have to say anything. I just tell you to plug your stuff, put yourself over, tell everybody where to find you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on Instagram is the official _ Desmond _ Cole. I think I got that right? I should have got that right. On Twitter, it's the what THA real _ DC. Facebook, it's Desmond Cole. Yeah, and if you don't know where to find me, you can go on those social medias. I'm always posting where I'm at. I'm always at Beyond, Limitless, VPW, Chaotic, Unsanctioned, all over the place right now. And yeah, that is me. That is the real DC, the big Boofa.
Man, I appreciate you stopping by and chatting about some wrestling tonight with me, Desmond.
Oh, this is fun, dude. I'm not gonna lie, this is awesome.
Excellent. For the Big Boofa, Desmond Cole, I am the Will Gray. Thanks for stopping by and listening, my people.